Good morning. It's early, so I wanted to try to get this video out of the way. I've done recorded it like 3 times. But, some people think I'm stuck up. Some think I'm too proud. But have you really sat back and thought about where I came from? A lot of people in the town I live in, they knew my family, they knew, pretty much where I came from. A lot of people around there don't really know my mama. I guess they just assume, oh, I got a lovely mama, this and that. It's not like that. My mama, from the time whenever I started school, right, I had to be an A student. I guess I never lived up to her dream or whatever, because I wasn't an A student. I was a D student at best. And even though she knew I was a D student my whole time in school, she still beat me for bringing home D's, And so I got to the point where, and it wasn't beatings. It was abuse. That's what it was to me. To her, it's a whole different story. My childhood to her was good, disciplined. She done a great job, stuff like that. But to me, I was abused. I was emotionally neglected, and it had a big impact on me becoming a teenager. And whenever I was 12 years old, I was suicidal. Like, I just wanted to unalive myself. I did not want to be here no more. So much so that I was put in some kind of child's mental hospital in Columbia. Not really sure what it's called, but anyway. And that's because I was a daddy's girl back then. And the one thing that she knew that I loved was my daddy. And because whenever she would, he did beat her. But after he would leave the house after he was done, she would come find me and take the rest of her anger out on me. So that's how that dynamic went. And it happened every time like that. Okay, so she never put her hands on my sister and my brother like that. Still to this day, as we're older, my mama can go years without talking to me. I don't know how long it's been since I haven't talked to my mama. It's just another day to her. It doesn't hurt her feelings. I'm just another regular person in the street. And it has a lot to do with her having my daughter, because of my life ended up in a drug addict situation, and I did lose my daughter because of that. My mama has her, so I feel like my mama thinks that that's her second chance on getting things done right. But what she fails to realize is none of us get second chances. Just like with me, with my kids, I don't get a second chance. I had to wait until my oldest turned 17 to even be able to have a relationship with him. Because with my daughter living with my mama right now in our relationship, I can't even send my daughter anything in the mail. Nothing. Like, that's how my mama acts. Whenever her husband just admitted on Fox 54 News, done a whole interview about him being on crack just 5 or 6 months ago. Now, how are you going to tell me I can't have nothing to do with my daughter when I've been clean for years now? Went back to school 3 times, and it still ain't good enough. And yet your husband just admitted he was doing crack 6 months ago. And he didn't even go to rehab. He was doing an outpatient situation. And if you are a recovering addict or an addict, you know that doesn't work. An outpatient recovery is not going to work. You have to go to inpatient to get your mind right, period. We all know that way too well. And I'm tired of, I'm mad at the fact that it took me so many years to figure out that I would never make her happy. Because you can say I'm crazy or whatever you want to say, but I'm telling you, I know 100% facts that my mother hates me. I don't know for what reason. I don't know if it's because of my sperm donor. She was made to marry him, from what I heard. And her mama made her marry him, and she hated it. And then I guess me coming along made her stuck and tied with him the rest of her life. So, but he ended up going to prison for 15 years. So I don't see what the big deal was about it. She didn't really have to deal with him. But I ended up with a stepfather who taught me everything I pretty much, I know. He taught me, how to provide for my family. He taught me, you know, it wasn't all good. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, he was, you know, he taught me the best number one rules of life. But at the same time, he gave me a roof over my head and done for me what I needed as a child. Now, yes, as I got older, you know, and my siblings even got on drugs. All my siblings were drug addicts. Everything, all of us. So I was the only one that was actually put in the street, right? I was told they cut their phones off from me, didn't talk to me, nothing like that. Well, with my siblings being drug addicts, my dad just like welcomed them in the house. Oh, come stay, you know, so we know where you at. If anything happened to you in the street, I don't know what I would do. That type of thing. But Dusty just got through in the street and just had to make her way. And that's why I am the way that I am. And heaven forbid if I had to ask my mama for anything. I never asked my mama for anything, even when I was a drug addict, because I already knew the answer. But had my brother, you know, or my sister, after my sister had her kids, that was pretty much when everybody started doing for her. You know, it was kind of like, okay, Kelly's got kids, so let me give her this or give her that, whatever. My brother, on the other hand, he was babied by both my mother and my father. He was the only boy. And still to this day, if he needs anything, best believe one of them are going to break their back to help him. You know, my dad moved all the way from Barnwell to Anderson all because he wanted to be near my brother. You know, like, and I got more attention whenever I was a drug addict. Even though I didn't get a lot of attention, I got some attention. All because they were preying on my downfall. The worse I'd done in life, the more they would talk to me or have something to do with me. I don't know if it was just to spread around to the family how I was doing and the shape I was in or whatever. I don't know. I don't really understand that. But now that I'm, you know, better off, I don't hear from anybody. You know, and it's always been like that. So I'm to the point where, like, in my mind, I don't have family. Like, I don't have a mama. I have myself and I have my kids, and my kids were being told the whole time they were growing up. You know, my 17-year-old, whenever he moved in with me, he told me all kinds of stuff that my mother told him. Even for the years I was clean, he was still being told that I was a drug addict. Like, what am I supposed to do about that? Yeah, I can't do nothing about it until they turn 17 and they can come to me and we have a real conversation without old biddies in their ears, you know, and so they can know the truth. And I have the receipts. Like, I have the receipts, and I have plenty of people to back me up here in Barnwell where I live at. You can't say I was a drug addict because plenty of people know I wasn't. How could I have went back to school 3 times back to back, passed 3 certifications back to back on my first try? Like, you can't. But yet I'm the one that gets put down. And in a way, I think about it, I feel really bad for my mother because she sits there and judges me. And God said, don't judge nobody. God is going to ask her on her judgment day why she done the blessing that he gave her like she did. What's she going to say? Oh, because I had a redo? Dusty's daughter was my redo? No, honey. Even if Vanna does make it out of that house mentally stable, which I know is probably not going to happen because she's being raised by 2 older people. She doesn't get to go outside. She's already overweight for her age. She has this thing in her head where she has to pay people to be her friends. You know, things like that. That child is going to be just like me and my sister and my brother when we come out of the house. And I know this because my 17-year-old is. Everything my son told me that was wrong and that was happening to him and being done to him about his grades and about my daughter being taken over him once she moved in, it wasn't a jealousy thing. It was literally how it was, because every single family member would always say something about how my son was being treated now that my daughter had lived there. You know? So my son is right about his feelings. My mama is like that. You cannot make her happy. And I had a very long talk with him about it. You are not going to spend the rest of your life trying to make her happy like I did. It took me until I was like 35 or 36 years old to realize that it really didn't matter what I did. She was never going to be happy with anything because she wasn't happy with how her life or her family was. I was just something that went along with her past backstory, and she wanted to forget about it, right? Well, I'm your daughter. First off, the child you got in your house is my daughter, my blood. You will never change that with any papers. You will never change that with any money. And the only reason why you do have money like you do or whatever is because you got a rich old man that backs you. He owns half of Anderson. That's the only money you have. Other than that, you live off of my daughter's disability check. That's what that is about. Try to live high on the hog, you know? I mean, you're on food stamps just like everybody else. I'm not on food stamps for the first time in my life, you know? I admit I was on food stamps whenever I was a drug addict, you know, doing stuff like that. But now, I'm not. I work really hard. I'm not on disability. I'm not on anything. I work hard every day. And, you know, I know everybody's like, one day, well, before she passes away, maybe things will change and she'll come to you and y'all have a talk. No, I know that's not going to happen. I know my mother is not going to, it's all going to come to her and she's going to want to make amends. That's not how my mother is. My mama, she's going to want me to come to her. But that's not going to happen because I didn't do anything wrong. I got my life together. It might not have been when she wanted me to do it, but I did it. And then she has took the chance of me having a relationship with my daughter while she's a child. My daughter, everybody thinks that I'm her aunt. I am Aunt Riri, is what she thinks I am. She does not understand the fact that I am her mother. Yeah, her little cousin told her, oh, Dusty's your biological mother. She doesn't understand that. She doesn't even really understand what a mother is. Like, some kids know what a mama is because they live with their mom and stuff like that. Mama to her is only a word, if that makes sense. It's like dog, you know, cat, pen. It's only a word to her. So my mama taught her a long time ago to call her mama. Because my mama tried to get my son to do it too, but my son said no. But my daughter calls my mama, but she calls me her biological mom. She said, you're my biological mama. She doesn't understand that. But see, what she's really going to be mad about is when she gets older and she comes to her brother, which is the one that lives with me now, and he tells her the truth about me being clean all these years, and yet you lied to her saying that I was on drugs and stuff like that. And then she's going to be like, well, you know, I missed out my whole life of having a real mother and not even knowing what a mama is or is supposed to do, all because my nanny wants to lie to me because she wanted me all to herself to have a redo of how she messed up my real mama's life. My mother mentally and physically abused me my whole life. So much to where I wanted to unalive myself. She does not take accountability for that. She wants to say it's all because of her getting a divorce from my father, my daddy, or whatever. And I call my stepdad my daddy. But anyway, she wants to say that's what it was for. And that I got mental instabilities from my family because they all went to the nut house, you know. But it was all because I ain't gonna lie, I come from a long line of drug addicts. Like, I have nothing to hide. I am an open book. Always have been. I have nothing to lie about. But these are the things that have made me the way that I am. Whenever I was down and out, you know, and like me and my husband split up, he moved on. You know what I'm saying? So, and it wasn't no whole month later or nothing like that. It was like the very next day, you know. So it made me shut down a part of my heart where it's probably never going to be open again. What I look forward to is, maybe one day I get to be a grandma, and because my mama took being a mother from me. Yeah, I messed it up by being an addict, but I've been clean for years. But I never got that, okay, here's your kids back in your life like a lot of addicts do. No, that never happened to me. I still can't have my kids around me like that. And because of my family situation, or because of my husband and the people that don't like him, my middle son, he can't come around. I can go see him, but he still can't come to my house or anything. So I'm still not trusted, even though I own my own property. Me and my husband, we own our own house. I pay my own bills. Everything is taken care of. My 17-year-old doesn't want for anything. Time he got down here, because he could not wait to leave my mother's house. So yes, he left that schoolhouse. So time he got here, I got him straight in Denmark Tech GED program, and he was done within 1 month. You can ask anybody up there that. He was done within 1 month. And he left that school, the high school, and then he comes straight down here, and it wasn't 2 weeks later we had all his paperwork done. And then he had graduated with his GED within a month. So it wasn't no playing around. My son just wanted to be with me, and him being with me and him seeing that I was clean and all that stuff that he was told was lies motivated him to do as good as I was doing. And that made me very proud. And he is the same way. Like, he'll tell anybody to this day, nothing anybody is told about his mama is true. Nothing. Sorry, it's cold outside. But I just want to explain, because a lot of people think I'm proud and that I don't have a heart or whatever. I mean, I have a heart. It's just I pick and choose where it goes, because you can't trust everybody. And I know I might be wrong for teaching my kids that, but that's what it is in this world. All I have is God and the closest people to me that I trust, and that's it. And I'm very picky about who gets my love and who gets my trust. I really don't have any trust, to be honest. Like, I don't trust anybody, just being honest. I really try to work on that, to try to trust people, but I don't know, it don't work. It just don't work. But yeah, if you knew my childhood thoroughly, like it's a longer story than that. If you knew my childhood thoroughly, you would understand where I came from. My mama thought she was disciplining me and this and that while she was being abused and trying to raise me my whole life. But at the same time, she was wrong. She was abusing me and mentally abusing me, and I was terrified of my mother so much to where I had chronic high blood pressure. And now I have congestive heart failure as an adult, because that went untreated as a child, because she was tired of taking me to the doctor and the doctor's jumping on her butt about my health. I was so terrified and scared of her. So that's what I do. I still deal with physical and mental ailments because of her. And she's never going to hold herself accountable, because she thinks she's the only one in her family, in her generation, that didn't become a drug addict. So that makes her so proud, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it has made her how she is. She calls herself a Christian, this and that, but she's a half Christian. Like, all that stuff that she preaches about forgiving and stuff whenever she's in a good mood and the family's around, all that goes out the window whenever there ain't nobody else around. Her friends think she's one way, but me and my sister have always laughed, because they think she's one way when really she's a whole different person behind closed doors. She is a scary, scary woman. She is a scary woman. I was scared of my mama until I was like 30-something years old. I'm talking about flinching scared. Like, I was that scared of my mama. And it just scarred me. It really scarred me. But now that I'm a grown woman, like, yes, I'm proud. I'm proud of myself, because ain't nobody else is proud of me. Nobody in this world was ever proud of me for doing anything, not getting clean, even though I done all that myself. I understand that. But do you know how hard it is to get clean and stay clean? It's hard. Do you know how hard it is to take care of a household by yourself? I'm sure a lot of women do. But this video is mainly for my mama and the people that don't really know me. They just know of me and think I'm just some kind of stuck up, mean faced. I just got that resting face because I don't know, that's just me. But Ben needed to make this video a long time to get all that out. I'm sure I have more, but y'all have a blessed day. God is walking with you every day. Remember that. God's going to make everything right when he comes back. And then we're all going to get to be with our kids like we want to be. They're going to be where they're supposed to be. And ain't nobody going to be able to tell us what to do with them. Everything's going to be perfect. Y'all have a good day. Bye.